Two more people linked to the Holiday Inn hotel at Melbourne Airport have tested positive to coronavirus. The infections are a quarantine worker and a resident who left the hotel on Sunday, February 7th. The number of cases linked to the venue has now grown to 8. The hotel was closed earlier today for a deep clean, with guests moved to the Pullman Hotel in Melbourne CBD, where they will restart their 14 days of quarantine. Just before that news, South Australia announced it was planning to establish a hard border with Greater Melbourne from midnight tonight, subject to an update from Victoria. If the hard border goes ahead, only people returning home, genuinely relocating or essential travellers will be allowed to enter South Australia. Authorities made the announcement to give people who are already in transit an early warning, but they say whether it goes ahead will depend on the information they receive from Victoria over the next few hours.
After midnight tonight, if you're travelling from the Greater Melbourne area, you will not be permitted to enter South Australia unless you are a returning resident, a person who is legitimately relocating from Victoria to South Australia, or you have an exemption or other special requirements as an essential traveller. But if you are travelling as a returning South Australian resident, you will be required to quarantine at home. Relocating will be required to quarantine. The exemptions process for individual cases is a matter determined by SA Health as to what the quarantine requirements are. So it's important to stress these changes are intended. We are giving people who are travelling to South Australia or proposing to travel to South Australia as much notice as possible so they can make any last-minute arrangements they can possibly make if that's their intention. We'll firm this up as soon as we have that last piece of advice from Victoria. We know that this is a delicate position for people who may be in Victoria wishing to travel to South Australia, or South Australians who may be wishing to return. It is a decision for individuals to make. If you feel so strongly that you need to get back without quarantining, then my advice would be that you consider what your options are immediately. If you're not concerned about the fact of having to quarantine and you are a returning resident, then you may continue what you're doing in Victoria with the knowledge that you may have to serve a period of quarantine at home.